heard your cries, Guggen Nation, but too much of a good thing is bad for your health. So we're only doing this once a week. Buckle up, baby. It's time for E.T.N. Brought to you by All Pro Roofing on 1010XL.
Our guest Guggen judge is Matt, perhaps Matt Ryan, multitasking this morning as the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, or perhaps not. Maybe it's just Guggen Matt. Hello, Matt. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Good.
All right.
You know how the game's played. You're already a winner. Beef, what does he want?
Play something off the stranger! Matt is getting a pair of tickets to head down to the Florida Theater on Friday night for the Lords of 52nd Street. That's the Billy Joel Band. They're playing at the Florida Theater. He'll also be entered into the drawing at the end of the week. One of our lucky Guggen winners this week will get a pair of entries, a twosome, as some call it, into the Coastal Equipment Guggen Open coming up April 18th at Hidden Hills.
Look at
Wonderful.
that. House just around the corner. Matt, your whole life they've told you, try not to be judgmental. Now you get to be for the next 10 minutes.
Let it rip.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Be extra judgy.
Round one.
With an edge.
Yeah. Round one, since we sort of alluded to Matt Ryan and Matt potentially being Matt Ryan, he has not confirmed or denied this. But there's new competition in the AFC South. The Colts have a new quarterback, Matt Ryan, coming in to the Colts in exchange for a third-round pick. So I guess my question is, with Matt Ryan in the fold, how much better are the Colts now with Matt Ryan than they were a year ago with Carson Wentz?
He's the same guy. Matt Ryan at this stage of his career is the same guy as Carson Wentz. He may give you a little bit of a mental edge. Matt Ryan goes to Indy, and he's the 7th or 8th best quarterback in the conference. So this is just a continuation in Indy of treading water until they get their next franchise quarterback. Matt Ryan is going to give them the same thing week to week that Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz have done the last couple of years. Is it better than like Jacoby Brissett and some of the different 7 we've seen the last 7 years? You bet it is. But Matt Ryan hadn't had a winning year the last 3 years. I've watched a lot of Matt Ryan. He's made a lot of late game mistakes that have cost the Falcons games along the way. And you're getting the 2016 MVP. Be sure the 2022 version is just a guy who will finish somewhere between 15 and 22 in the quarterback ratings, the QBR. And the Colts will certainly, in the battle of the dipstick division, be in better shape, but in no way are they any closer to being a champion.
How dare you? How dare you disparage Matt Ryan, a guy that you have held up in such esteem that we've had shouting matches of him being a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I will say this about Matt Ryan going to the Colts, and I will make this point. Matt Ryan would have beaten either the Raiders or the Jaguars in those last 2 games. Therefore, it's an addition to the Colts, as much as I hate to say that. Matt Ryan would have been the one guy I don't want to go to Indy. I would have rather them gotten the Chew. I would have rather them gotten Jimmy G. I would have rather them gotten Baker. I don't like Matt Ryan going to the Colts. I don't think he's as good as 2016, but he is definitely an upgrade over what they've had there the last 7 years.
He's definitely an upgrade, but keep treading water, Indy. Winner Jeff.
Round two.
Problem for Matt, he's 37. You got no future there. You hope to bottle it up, I guess.
Round two.
He's in a better spot going to Indy, though, than staying in Atlanta. I mean, he's on a much better team.
But in fairness, his QBR, his passer rating, both worse than Wentz last year, less touchdown passes and more interceptions.
Yeah, but he's not a choker.
Well, again, I'm just telling you, I've watched a lot of Falcons football, and he has been that a number of times in important spots the last couple of years. Anyway, moving on.
Dan, you mentioned a name in your answer.
Yes.
A guy that was linked to the Colts until they acquired Matt Ryan. That would be Baker Mayfield, who's out of a job in Cleveland. So what becomes of the former number 1 pick there? Is it Carolina? Is it Seattle? Is it a yet to be determined destination?
Shaken Baker?
Shaken Baker?
Shaken Baker better hope like heck and better be on the phone with his agent and say, get me to Carolina ASAP, get me to Seattle ASAP, because there's nobody left. The quarterback derby is shaken out, and Shaken Baker better go find himself a spot. I feel like Shaken Baker's gotten a little bit of an unfair criticism, around this whole situation. He was not very good last year, but then again, he was hurt, man. His shoulder was shot, not his throwing shoulder, but he had to play with a bad wing that needed surgery. So, I mean, he's got good numbers if you go back and look. If I was Carolina or Seattle, I definitely would throw a draft pick to get Shaken Baker. When I say a draft pick, I say, here's a 4th rounder, boys.
You know what I'd really like to see? I'd like to see Visa do a new commercial where they foreclose on Baker's house there at the Cleveland Municipal Stadium. And, you can see the moving van. They grab him by the scruff of the neck and they take him out back and they throw him to wherever he lands as a backup quarterback in the NFL. I disagree that Baker is anything more than Gardner Minshew at this stage and can face the same kind of competition for landing somewhere as Minshew did. Maybe he could transfer back to Oklahoma.
Winner Dan.
Round 3.
You don't think that Baker Mayfield's a backup?
Baker Mayfield's like 28-30 as a starter.
For the Browns.
Yeah. The Browns are good. What are you talking about?
And he took them to the playoffs and won a game.
Again,
all right. Shaking Baker.
Not big on Baker Mayfield. I don't think Baker Mayfield's going off and winning anyone a Super Bowl.
El Diablo.
That's what you're looking for, isn't it?
The Magic Man. Shake and bake.
Apparently, there's 30 other teams that agree. There's 2 left that maybe would take him. And to your point, he's better than Darnold and he's better than Locke. I'll give you that.
Round 3 shifted to the Jags.
Shaking Baker.
One of your favorites, Dan.
Yes.
Cody Benjamin over at CBS Sports.
Oh,
usually have his stuff on alerts.
Yeah.
When he publishes a new piece, you get a little ding on your
They had
phone.
sponsored him an Upward Basketball.
Cody Benjamin is a smidge ahead of Dumbasso.
Well, the Code Man, ranked every team's free agent crop.
Okay.
And the Jags, not DAL, not top of the pops. They are kind of middle of the pack, number 17 in the league, a middle of the pack free agent haul. Would you agree with that estimation that the Jaguars free agent haul is average?
Spot on. We talked yesterday. If you grade it, I'd give them a C+. They got one proven thing in Brandon Scherf. They paid one guy like he's a proven thing, but it's yet to be seen. And then they went full on every year Jaguar and signed a bunch of guys that they prop up and maneuver the stats to tell you that you're getting an upgrade somewhere. But in reality, you're getting the same guy that we sign year in and year out. So a C+ is fine. Hopefully they can play on a curb and improve that. But based strictly on what's been added to the roster, it's not chock full of difference makers that you would expect this year.
The hell with Cody Benjamin and the hell with you.
Wow.
I mean, first off, I got the best offensive lineman in free agency in the Sheriff. Okay? So, I mean, and that's a solid, good football player who's going to make the interior of the offensive line better. I got a young receiver who suddenly, because he's a young receiver, now we're punishing instead of the fact that we should laud the fact that we're going after a 25-year-old who's got his best football in front of him. I got the guy who led the NFL in tackles a year ago. A guy who led the NFL in tackles a year ago. And then I added some beef up front as well and upgraded. He's better than anybody else we got playing up front. So, you know what? I am bullish on this Jaguars free agent class. I am bullish, Jeff Prosser.
I don't see any real difference makers from this class, but at the same time, we filled a lot of holes. C+ it is. Winner Jeff.
Round 4.
And that's a hard argument when you started the show trying to get rid of our 7 and putting in your 5.
You're in a pickle. Dan thinks Cody Benjamin been hanging out with Lenardi.
Yes. I think Lenardi may be hitting the meth. In the end, he was right, by the way.
Yeah, he got sick. I can't believe that either. But
I got to say,
yeah,
you can
67 out of 8, right?
You can expunge that one.
Winner Walter White.
Yeah. Wally White got it.
67 out of 68.
Round 4.
Damn you, Lenardi.
Yesterday,
I hate you.
We talked about.
Wow.
You guys talked about the injury that David Ojabo suffered at Michigan Pro Day, and there was a ripple effect that affected the Jaguars, as Aiden Hutchinson had exactly one private workout scheduled, and that was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're still a ways out, but how certain do you still feel, knowing that he only had one workout scheduled with the Jags, that it seems like all indications are that that is where we're pointing?
I'm as certain. I was 100% certain on Trevor Lawrence. I'm 97% certain that Aiden Hutchinson's going to be the pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, maybe somebody wants to trade up.
I was gonna say, is the wiggle another guy, or is the wiggle a deal?
It's probably a deal. They got it. It's all right there in front of our eyes, man. I mean, this is a no-brainer, and I get the luck of the draw by going first. But Aiden Hutchinson is going to the Jaguars. Look, they haven't addressed that spot. We know they need to address that spot. They addressed their offensive line. So I don't know who you're going to give me at one that is not Aiden Hutchinson. Thibodeau's nowhere to be found. So yeah, it's Aiden Hutchinson. Come on down. You're the next contestant on the Jaguars. We hope are right.
I guess the only wild card might be that one of the quarterback workout, like that Malik Willis lifts himself up to some incredible spot there. Somebody is desperate enough to come up to number one and get him. And then, depending on your belief in the player, the Jaguars would have to agree to pull the trigger on a deal like that as well. To your point, it's not going to suddenly be Travon Walker or Kayvon Thibodeau, and there's really not a position that fits somewhere else. So, yeah, I don't even need the personal workout, by the way. We can go ahead and cancel that one, too.
I'd like to see the dancing bear Evan Neal, but all signs point to Hutch. Winner Dan.
Welcome to round 5, and prepare to die.
I like the Dancing Bear.
Very macabre.
Wow. Dark.
Kind of wish I was nicknamed the Dancing Bear in some ways.
Kind of are.
Yeah.
You're a dancing bear to me.
Yes.
A bear man. Round 5, lastly.
Bears.
Google dancing bear and carve your niche.
The NCAA tournament will resume in a couple of days.
Yes.
And we're already down 1 seed. There are 3 remaining.
Okay.
As we head into Sweet 16 play.
All right.
Arizona takes on Houston. Gonzaga takes on Arkansas. Kansas takes on Providence. So how confident are you that we will still have 3 number 1 seeds remaining when we get to the weekend?
Not confident at all. Have you watched the tournament? Have you seen the slight disparity? I mean, do you see a 10 seed left, an 11 seed left, an 11 seed left, a 15 seed left, an 8 seed left? I mean, Gonzaga would have to go through most likely Duke. Arizona is going to have to beat a Houston team that's way underrated, and then a Villanova squad most likely, or even Michigan. And so, yeah, I would say that 2 at most. If you ask me right now, and by the way, this doesn't necessarily behoove my bracket, but no, it's only the Sweet 16. If we think the upsets are over.
Just clarification on the question. Are you talking this one game, or are you talking to the Final Four?
Well, I was talking more so this round of 16.
He was talking just
I
this
thought you
one
meant to
game.
the Final Four.
No.
I'll throw it back out there to give you a chance to.
Yeah.
You can stay with what you want.
No,
I don't care.
I meant more so these matchups with Houston, Arkansas, and Providence.
I think Arizona, Kansas, and Gonzaga will win their games this week. I think the real now. I really like the option of getting my chance with Houston or whoever they play next. But that being said, if gun to my head with all the tremendous success I had handicapping the March Madness in Vegas, where I just walked winner after winner up to the betting window, I can pretty assuredly tell you that Arizona's going to beat Houston, Kansas will beat Providence, and Gonzaga will roll.
More importantly, which one of those 3 teams will be the first to 15?
Right, that's ultimately important. The first to 15 bet will change your life, Matt. If you're ever in Vegas, throw down some cash on that one.
There's nothing like the first to 15. I will disagree with you. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. All 3 of those teams have tough games. The Zags can't make free throws, and they were in both games. Arizona went to overtime with TCU, and Houston's got some metal in them. And Kansas, I like Kansas to win, but I would go on record as saying one of those 3 number 1s will not make it to the weekend. One of those 3 number 1s will not make it to the weekend. That's just the way it goes in college basketball, man.
I agree. I think that the athleticism of Arkansas is going to take Gonzaga. Winner Dan.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about, Matty!
Matty Ice.
Woo!
Hey, enjoy Indy, man.
That's how you rally back.
Enjoy
That's
Indianapolis. And
Yes,
enjoy the Lawrence
sir!
of 52nd Street.
Yes. Play some Stranger. Beef, let's drink. You want to
There's a
drink?
little something called Keeping the Faith.
Woo! Let's chug a lug with a little fireball.
Let's get turnt, Dan.
Let's do
As
it.
the kids like to say.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Fireball.
Spicy water.
That burns.
That's so good.